Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. We'll see you then. Welcome to the In Wheel Time car talk show. Coming up, we're going to talk to Shay Manawar with the Anderson Economic Group about the ongoing UAW strike. Jeff has a segment on the 7 most unreliable cars.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. Conrad has the racing calendar and the car clinic, and later we have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. It's just ahead on this segment of the In Wheel Time car talk show. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars, matching green shirts from King Conrad DeLong. We have the Pumpkin Spice Kid. We need more, Jeff Zekin.
Pumpkin Spice Kid.
I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Thanksgiving show for 20...
Halloween.
Jumping ahead a little bit, aren't you, Don?
It's not Thanksgiving?
No. See, Thanksgiving we have a turkey instead of ghosts.
He
sees the pumpkin.
We can have birds. There's a bird on the...
You're stretching. You're reaching. Well, what about the ghost over there?
That's
boo. Boo.
Hey, boo.
It's
would
the
be
Halloween
at
show, and I was jumping ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I think pumpkin spice, and I think Thanksgiving.
I got you. It makes you have that. We'll let you
That's
that.
where my sick brain goes.
Kona.
It was the Christmas tree show.
That's coming up.
Kona.
All right.
Squirrel.
Joining us now, Shay Manawar, Anderson Economic Group. Shay, good to talk to you. Good to have you with us this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me back. It's gonna be great, and then so good to see you guys about to celebrate Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
I must say this: turkeys might be thinking this is Halloween.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Then they know the end is near.
And they're scared.
Yeah, they are
scared.
So Shay, we're talking to you today about the UAW strike that appears that it may be coming to a close. All the details aren't in yet. 25% pay hike for all of those involved with the United Auto Workers. And, of course, all got to be ironed out, spelled out, and then approved by the auto workers.
Voted on, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen is my gut feeling on that. But all the damage that's been done over the past 5 weeks, 6 weeks, it's pretty extensive.
Yeah, I think you chose the right word, extensive. It has been an extended strike. I mean, 6 weeks this past Friday. So that is probably a day extra compared to the GM strike in 2019. GM strike lasted nearly 6 weeks. And then when we're looking at the economic losses as of the end of the 5th week, we were looking at nearly $9.3 billion in total economic losses. That also includes wage loss, suppliers loss, losses to OEMs, as well as industry losses, such as impact on the dealerships and consumers like you and I.
I was going to say, how does that affect the general guy walking down the street?
So you can look at it from different perspectives. If you look at the footprint of this strike, it's not just concentrated in one state, one region. It has spread across the country in the past 6 weeks. What that means is if you have workers losing jobs, if there are layoffs, and if there are any individuals even on pay strike, the ability to spend on consumer goods, it tends to affect. So hence, if there are any retailers or small mom and pop shops relying on those industry clusters around those plants, I mean, they might have seen some decline in foot traffic, and you're looking at households trying to figure out if their budget constraints might look different during the strike and even after.
Well, we have a huge assembly plant in Arlington. Matter of fact, General Motors just mentioned here in the past year that they're going to spend over $1 billion in expansion of that plant. And there are a lot of people that work at that plant. 5,000. About 5,000 people. And chances are that there is somebody that watches this show in the state of Texas that probably knows somebody or somebody related to those folks. And, going from whatever wage they made to $500 a week, it's, that's significant. And how is it going to affect their Christmas? So now That plant went on strike
even though
a couple of weeks ago.
Even though the strike's over, there's a long-term effect of that loss of income as we go into the Christmas season. See, you've jumped from Thanksgiving to Christmas.
Christmas already, yeah.
I have.
You're moving quick.
I am moving quick, like this show does. But it's a lot, and we don't really think of it, oh, that doesn't affect me. Yes, it does. Somewhere down the line, it does affect you because it affects those people. The auto industry is massive. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely massive. Do you know somebody that doesn't own a car? I don't think that I do. That relies on mass transportation here in the Houston area? No, I don't. Maybe in New York, okay, I get that because they have an infrastructure there that really depends more, I think, on the mass transit.
Well, and one of the areas I see the impact, because I do, I'm a claims adjuster now for an aftermarket warranty company, is the unavailability of parts to fix people's cars because of the strike and the plants that were selected by the UAW.
Well, to that end, there's even parts that have not recovered from the pandemic.
Right.
And
and some of those tier 2, tier 3 suppliers that just for 6 weeks of this auto strike are going to go out of business and will never come back. And some of those parts may never be available again because of the proprietary nature of what they were building. It's going to have a lasting effect.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the point of this is the fact that this is going to go on, even though the strike may be coming to an end and it finally will be ratified and everybody goes back to work, that we're going to feel the effects of this for months to come.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you guys mentioned a few things. You mentioned pandemic, because let's not forget it was just a few years ago. Soon after pandemic, the entire auto industry went into a supply chain hurdles, or you can call it disruption. I remember walking around the Lansing area where I live. There were thousands of GM cars parked because in the parking lot, empty parking lot, cars were parked on campus because there were not enough semiconductor chips to complete the product. That impacted the dealership's ability to sell vehicles to their customers. And when that did not happen, we saw an impact on the sticker price. The average transaction price just went up from nearly $38,000 per new car to nearly 50. Now I think it's touching 48, 49 nowadays.
Yes.
So at some point when you mentioned, yes, there's a small term effect on wages, small term effect on households that are going through this event, which is the strike. But then the long term impact would eventually be felt by many of a typical American who may not even live closer to these affected plants, solely because how, as you mentioned, the auto industry, which is a massive industry, and it's also pretty competitive. Let's not forget that we are not looking at the entire industry. We are looking at 3 legacy U.S. OEMs that are supposed to be competing with brands such as Toyota, Hyundai, Honda, Kia. And then in the midst of this entire strike, we are supposedly in an EV transition. We are supposed to be, the U.S. companies are supposed to be making more EVs. They're supposed to be making EVs that are willing buyers are looking at, and then they want to buy those compared to Hondas or Teslas. But then when we are not focusing on the EV transition the way we're supposed to, we are looking at losing competitive edge. We saw that.
And if you think they lost money for the strike, here, hold my beer. Watch how much money we're about to lose doing EVs, because I think that's going to be a greater financial loss.
And I wrote down a couple of things. I think there's going to be a strike hangover, or sort of like a buyer's remorse going on with these workers that voted for this or will vote for it. I'm thinking that they've all got to go back to work now, and they're all contemplating and thinking, I've got this great contract. Is it really worth it? Is it really going to benefit me? I think there's going to be some backlash, maybe a year, 2 years down the road, that it really wasn't a good idea.
Well, the other thing, and let me just mention this too, the tier 2 and tier 3 suppliers, they are going to have to now compete amongst themselves for workers, because if you make a widget and I make a widget, and I pay Conrad, an extra $1 an hour. May not sound like a lot, but think about it.
Yeah,
Over the time.
Lots of people are going to go for that dollar.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of jumping.
Yeah, a lot of jumping.
So Shay, taking that a little bit further, and I was looking through some of that. We got a ton of information from y'all about the workers and the fact they've been out on 6 weeks now. You know, I'm from East Texas. We've had some nasty strikes over there, last over a year, shootings on the picket lines. We've had all kinds of stuff over the years. And I've got an opinion, but I'm asking you from your perspective, are these workers really going to get value? Are they going to be ahead of the game because of what they've lost?
The loss for 6
versus
weeks
what
and
they're
what they
getting.
gained.
The buyer's remorse. Yeah.
That is actually a very good question. Are they going to gain? Some workers might, yes, but many may not have any clear directions as to what is stored ahead. I mean, as of right now, we know that there is some contractual bargaining going on. Yes, we know that they're pushing for higher wages, and then yes, they might get it. But then we also have to factor in the inflation and the rising cost of living. Is that going to impact a typical worker's ability to buy and spend more? That is a big question. At the end of the day, are you able to save enough for your next generation, for a college fund? Are you able to spend enough money on vacationing? Are you able to buy big ticket items such as vehicles and able to afford mortgages? But let's look at the interest rates. So I think when we look at the economic side of it, just because your ability to earn a little more goes up, that doesn't mean your ability to spend and consume improves.
Goes up.
You're looking at a lot deeper than I was. I was just looking at it and saying, okay, these guys just lost 6 weeks of wages. How long is it going to take their new contract to make up for that and then for actually to see an improvement?
Well, here's the other caveat on all of this, and to bring it really home, let's look at the suppliers. Conrad mentioned the fact that they've got the manufacturers really don't manufacture anything for the most part. They're assemblers,
right?
And so they depend on their suppliers to supply them with the parts that they put together to make a car. How does that affect me locally? Well, first of all, they haven't been making cars for 6 weeks for the most part, and we'll just use that as an example. Okay, so what about that dealership that is depending on that particular model to get them through the next month or two, and they don't have that ability to do that because they can't get the car. The car's not being built.
Yeah, but days supply has been pretty strong, but I think there's going to be an air bubble in the pipe from this 6 weeks that's going to have an impact on that days supply. But right now, I think that I think still GM Stellantis are 60 days supply.
But that's the overall because they make more than one model of car.
Right.
And there's going to be that one plant that was shut down during this
Silverado,
strike.
Ram 1500, Ford F-150, because those were the ones, UAW chose those for a reason because those are the high profit margin assembly
and those
plants.
are the factories for the most part that are running 2 and 3 shifts.
Right.
And if I can add, let's not forget brand loyalty. I'm gonna remember that EV. We have some issues with the EV transition, but let's not forget that brand loyalty and consumer perception. It matters so much when you're trying to launch something which you haven't launched. You're trying to sell something you haven't sold enough, and you're looking at few extremely well-oiled competitors such as Tesla or other brands who do not have to worry about unions or ensuring that products are built inland. I mean, you're looking at some import brand as competition in the next few years, and then the question is, are we ready for that? And are you ready to influence the brand loyalty again the way we did many decades ago? Because when we look at the data, I mentioned that last time, to look at the data, I do not see the U.S. automakers at the top 5 consistently. There's always a threat when it comes to market shares. And then we see that shifting every time there's a major event. It shifted again. It shifted in the favor of Hyundai and Kia the moment they improved their brand. in the past few years. And they are capturing market shares from Honda, from Ford, from Chevy. But the moment any of these import brands are able to launch EVs that people are willing to buy and they find it a little cheaper than Fords or Chevys, guess what? You would have to figure out we have to figure out some ways to fulfill those aggressive promises that they made in the past couple of years. And I see that as a concern because we have made some aggressive timeline as well as goals. And I realize that going into election year, people do remember those promises, and then they might hold some of these of public officials, including CEOs, accountable in case if they're not able to see that plant being able to produce batteries or electric vehicles and then offer new jobs in the next 4 or 5 years.
Well, one of the things that I mentioned here in the last hour of our show, now that the price of the cars for the UAW built vehicles are going to go up as they would with anything else, that you're going to raise their prices, their rate
cost
for 25% increase in pay. Now you're going to raise the price of those UAW built cars. And in some cases, they're going to be in competition with $100,000, say, Mercedes-Benz, as opposed to the $100,000 Chevrolet Suburban. Which one am I going to buy? I got the $100,000. I get that. But is it time for me to switch over to Mercedes-Benz? I think that there's going to be some of that that's going to occur. Don't you?
I'll still buy Chevy.
So, well, based on the data that you guys,
the repair cost too.
Well, there is that.
Well, based on the data that you're looking at, what do you guys perceive the increase in the cost of vehicles is going to be over this new UAW contract that's being proposed right now?
To be honest, it's hard to tell. I mean, it will take. The good thing is in the past 6 weeks we looked at more data, and then we will start seeing more data in the next few weeks and maybe months, and then and then we will be able to have a better understanding of how much of a cost shift would occur in the next couple of quarters.
Yeah.
At this time, it's pretty raw. I mean, we're still looking at an ongoing strike. I mean, it hasn't ended yet officially.
Yeah.
So maybe in the next couple of months, the next quarter, we would know, and especially if we notice any decline in consumer appetite to buy new vehicles come the Christmas time, because next few months, and especially
interest rates and all that, yeah.
So the Fain is the president of the UAW. When is his contract up? When does he get voted out? Out or to extend his presidency? Because there's going to be some people that are saying, "Man, we didn't really get what we wanted. It's all his fault." Whatever the case, when is his up?
So I noted that you can be on public opinion's good side for a bit, but once the fatigue factor kicks in, and when you will notice an average consumer's ability to spend the way he or she wanted to, if it starts getting impacted, I mean, that's human nature. We do tend to find scapegoats, and most of the times those in prominence, for instance, Sean Fain here, he might be in
the hot seat
right now, but come few months down the road, you might see people finger pointing. So
Gotcha.
That's my anticipation. I've not seen his contract. I don't want to see his contract. At the end of the day, if it impacts whatever has happened in the past 6 weeks, if it impacts the auto industry, that's what we quantify. That's what we look at.
Right.
And I have said that numerous times since 2020. Every year there has been a disruption.
So, and you mentioned, I know we're running out of time, but you mentioned that like Hyundai and Kia had an event and they've taken some shares. Is that why? Can you do that real quick, or do I need to wait till the next time we talk? I mean, you mentioned that that's too long. We're running out of time. My bad. I'm gonna invite you back so I can ask you that question.
Well, you've already asked it, so let him finish. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm just, in a nutshell, if people like you, they will buy what you're selling. If they like what Kia and Hyundai are putting in a car, if they look nice, their logos have changed, people would buy it.
Yeah, so the brand loyalty goes out the window.
Yep, emotions create emotions, and we have to create positive emotions amongst the U.S. automakers.
That I
That has happened in
understand.
the last 6
Shay,
years.
it's always great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Let's talk at the end of the first quarter of 2024, shall we?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank
you.
Anderson Economic Group.
Great
Shay
information.
Manawar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always
All right.
good stuff.
Time now for the In Wheel Time race card, sponsored by Texas Nostalgia Modified Production.
Well, NHRA is coming to an end, or the NHRA season is coming to an end. So they are in Las Vegas this weekend. And then the Pomona Finals is November 9th through the 12th, and that'll be the end of the season. So be interesting to see, can Erica continue her winning ways
Absolutely.
and pull off her
Keeping our fingers crossed.
her
Yeah.
sixth world championship.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
Pro stock.
Yeah.
And, hey, I think it'll happen. My question is, what are they going to switch to? Because think about it, Camaro goes out of production. I
don't think that they're going to switch. I think that they're going to stay with the Camaro for next year. Yeah.
Oh, see, and I've been kind of looking at all the effort they're putting in Quadra's Mustangs, thinking that may be a transition car for them, is switching over. Though when she switched over to Chrysler, that didn't work real well.
No.
So anyhow, also NASCAR is at Martinsville this weekend. They're in Phoenix for the finale, November 5th. Circuit of the Americas had, I thought, a decent race at COTA. Some controversy
I
in
didn't
it
watch
as well.
all of it. I just got bored about
Yeah,
it.
Hamilton was disqualified.
Of course he was.
Yeah. A couple of drivers were because of the skid plate on the bottom of the
because
car.
the ride height was a
Yeah.
mess. And then, so they are in Mexico City this weekend. They're in Brazil on the 5th of November.
Ooh la la.
They're in Las Vegas on the 19th of November, which should be pretty cool. That's
We're going to run it down the strip.
yeah. Well, I've talked to a couple of people in Las Vegas, and they have been under construction, resurfacing all of those roads since the announcement of the
Wow.
of the run. So it's been a bit of a mess there, but I think that's going to be a pretty cool
think so
race,
too,
the way
yeah.
that they're going to run it, right down the front of the Bellagio. And then Abu Dhabi is the 26th of November. And that's it for the race car.
All right. Thank you very much. Jeff's got a segment that we've been kind of all looking forward to,
Well,
and it's called the Top 7 Most Unreliable Cars.
I wonder
And what-
how many of them were built by the UAW.
what this is this is a consumer report survey, and they've got other cars listed in there as well beyond the top 7. But I took 7, and this is what we have, and these are all based on reliability. The score that Consumer Reports does is 0 to 100. So these cars are all rated 0 to 100. And our first one is a GMC product. GMC is a brand that suffered a terrible 2 out of 10 score through Consumer Reports for the Yukon and scored 11 out of 100. Did I say 10? 2 out of 100, and then 11 out of 100 for the Sierra 1500.
My God.
So this is all based
11
on
out of 100.
11
That
out
kind
of
of borders on the you suck level.
Yeah, but
Is
wait,
there an award for that?
I don't know, but wait, there's more.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. Number 6 on this list is everyone's favorite, Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes scores 2 positions worse this year than last year, with the GLE being its least reliable model in the Consumer Reports survey. So that, and Don, always has the Mercedes-Benz recalls, and there go pages upon pages. So yeah, it doesn't give the actual number, but it does say it dropped from last year's
Great.
numbers. Yeah. And here's another favorite, Volkswagen, number 5. None of the 4 VW models, the Jetta, the Atlas, the ID4, and the Tiguan, scored above 50 points out of 100. But the Tiguan was the worst at just 17 points.
What Leslie just pie?
Oh, no.
I wonder if
Don,
she's
you were in
listening.
I was
so
going to
much
skip
trouble.
that one. Sorry,
Listen,
Leslie. It's a pretty car. It's just
It
it's
is.
pretty in the shop, too. That's, the way they record it out of the 100. The next one is Genesis.
I believe this one.
Hyundai's luxury brand had just 2 models represented in the Consumer Reports study, while the G70 scored 55 points out of 100, not bad. The GV80 scored just 5 points out of 100.
Well, first of all, the grill overpowers the front end, so
Yeah, it is
that needs to go.
And they're one of the most god-awful things to repair.
Screen door in a submarine. That's what that looks like. And number 3 in our list today would be the Jeep. Though the Jeep Cherokee, Wrangler, and Gladiator are able to get you off the beaten path at no problem, they can also land you in the shop with reliability scores of 30 for the Cherokee, 25 for the Wrangler, and 23 for the Gladiator.
That's why they all come equipped with tow hooks.
Oh, and winches. Got to have winches. Here's one that I didn't expect to be on the list. It is number 2, and it is the Tesla.
I've heard this.
Yes, the Tesla Model 3 EV scored the best of the brand with 59 points, but the Model S, the Y, and the X scored 20 for the S, 18 for the Y, and 5 points for the X. Now,
But what can go wrong with it other than the motor?
There's no oil leaks, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it's all of the, from what I hear, it's the trim fit, the onboard electronics and stuff are not just confusing.
And it could be the
but
battery
faulty.
issues too.
Yeah.
A lot of battery issues, but it retains its
Like
position.
a high-tech Yugo.
Yeah, as the list of the second least reliable brand. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, please. Number 1 on this list is Lincoln.
Oh.
Ford's luxury brand Lincoln retains the dubious honor, Mike, you know that word, of being the least reliable, with the Aviator being the most egregious offender.
Like being shot in the back of the head.
It's a shame, as Lincoln does make some really good quality products and other lines of it. They are enjoyable vehicles, but in this case, through Consumer Reports, they're number 1 on the least favorable. So,
Man.
yeah, there you go.
It's good to be known for something, but this isn't something that he's known for.
Exactly.
Hey, the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com when it works. Podcasts at your fingertips and over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. Tailpipes and Tacos is back. It's been a while, but the popular Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In returns to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, and it's an extra special one. Bring your Hot Rod Classic or Modern Classic to compete for one of the famous Chili Pepper trophies and get a free breakfast taco. Just make a donation of any size to God's Garage and Lupi's will match it. You'll be helping single mothers who need a set of wheels. It's been almost a year in the making, so you won't want to miss Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11 a.m. Cruise in, donate what you want to God's Garage, and grab a free Lupi Tortilla breakfast taco. Tailpipes and Tacos only happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy at 703 West Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of the Katy Freeway. It's car show season, and what better way to kick it off than a free taco and camaraderie at Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11 a.m. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Proceeds benefit God's Garage.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you will find on GM parts plus transmissions and engines. Over $25 million in parts and powertrain inventory and customer service that will be not matched by anyone in the country. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance, whether you are a drag racer, an oval track racer, a hot rodder, it matters not. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance will have the best price in the country, the best customer service, and the best delivery times that you will find on your GM parts. It can be on your dock, at your front door in a matter of days. It's Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet, GM Performance, and customer service to boot. Contact our Texas team, Gina Shile-Knowles at 713-907-0906 or Rodney Rodriguez at 512-300-4445. You will not find better service or better inventory in the country. Rogers Dabbs and GM Performance.
Houston's finest cars are invited to another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, and you're invited too. Show off your personal pride and joy, or just stop in to see the likes of Lucid, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, and more. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, and wheel repair. The Car Social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It all takes place Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with other car enthusiasts. From BMWs to Bentleys, Corvettes to McLarens, the Car Social is a different kind of show. Talk to the owners. See Gulf Coast Auto Shield's facility. You'll be amazed. Put it on your calendar now. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher.